Welcome to 4Kids' fourth annual Galentine's Day event. My name is Katrina Robb, and I'm the Director of Partner Engagement, and we are so thankful that you've joined us today for what we hope to be a fun, inspiring, and engaging event. Before we get started, we want to thank some of our sponsors, our welcome sponsors, Sunshine Health and LaCroix, as well as our technology sponsors, Little Nugget Learning Center and Publix. Sponsors, thank you so much. We could not put this event on without you. Now, for some of you, you've been with us for the 4 years that we've been hosting this event, and you may notice that things are a little different this year. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But although we're not in person, this will still be a phenomenal event. We've built in multiple ways for you to engage with us. We don't want to lose out completely on that in-person feeling, right? So right now on your screen, there is a chat box option. And so we want you to go ahead and get in there, type where you're joining us from. Because the cool thing, right, is this year, it's not just Broward and Palm Beach and the Treasure Coast. We have ladies joining us from across the country, which is amazing. So please go in that chat box and type in where you're from. We also have some games up our sleeves. So we will be doing trivia throughout this program. The first woman to type in the correct answer in the chat box after we've asked the question will win a very good prize. It's really good, I promise. All right. So I'm going to kick that off, and I'm going to ask the first question. In what year did Galentine's Day become a real thing? Okay, so in what year did Galentine's Day become a real thing? The first to answer correctly in the chat box wins a prize.
Awesome. Get chatting, ladies. And I'm Karen Granger, and I'm with 4Kids in the Palm Beach office. So thank you so much for being with us. We're so excited to actually see each other, us gals from work. We haven't seen each other so much over the last year. We're here out of our jeans and comfy pants. And for the first time, we're able to be together, and we have fresh COVID negative tests. I'll let you know that. We prepared for today with our fresh negative tests. But thank you so much for being with us. It's been a whole year since we were together at our luncheons and throughout the region, gathering with the gals. So thanks for gathering near and far online. Since we've seen you, a lot of things have been closed, as you know, but child welfare and the needs of kids in our area sure did not stop.
No.
And it's interesting to point out, I think, that while we were all kind of stuck at home, children were still being removed from their homes. And just since March through about Christmas time, our numbers show that over 120 children were placed with 4Kids foster families. And that is just remarkable. And then we had 55 reunifications where children were able to go from their foster family back home with the biological families. And in often, many cases, families stayed in touch and were able to kind of be in the children's lives as aunts or uncles. So that was really neat. And then most surprising to me since COVID was that we've had about 40 adoptions over Zoom.
Wow.
So that was pretty amazing. And we would do adoption parades and things like that. So things are still cranking in the world of foster care. So thank you for being with us wherever you are. And I'm so excited today we get to see and hear from Joe Saxton.
We're excited.
We're a little crazy about Joe Saxton.
Just
we're excited about that.
Oh, definitely. Well, my name is Lauren Kostoff, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at 4Kids. And we are so excited to be getting a little creative this morning and finding ways that we can still connect. I know that's my favorite part of Galentine's, is seeing women every year that come back and they're repeat guests, and we get to, connect and catch up. So we want to create that same feeling in the chat. So don't be nervous to type into the chat. We have a bunch of 4Kids gals that are in there, and they're monitoring the chat, and they're ready to jump into conversation with you. And so one of the ways that we're going to do that is by trivia. So Katrina already gave us our first question, and I have our next question, which is, in what country is Valentine's Day an actual holiday? In what country is Valentine's Day an actual holiday? So you'll see these questions in the chat and on the screen. But the first lady to type in the correct answer gets a prize.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer.
I really don't know the answer to that.
No, it's a good thing I'm not monitoring the chat.
And we have another fun way you can be engaged today, and it's super simple. All you have to do is take out your phone, take a little selfie, easy peasy, like that. And all you do is you text it to the number on your screen. So you'll see that number on your screen. It's 203-875-0527. Once you text your selfie, a photograph will come right back to your phone, and it'll be all zhuzhed up Galentine style. And we'd love for you to post that on your social media, share it with your friends. You can grab all of our hashtags that you see online, and that'll be another fun way we can feel like we're engaging together.
Yeah. It's not vanity when it's for a good cause.
Right. It's for a good cause.
It's for a good cause.
Although I already did a few selfies anyway.
I know we've been up here taking selfies because this set is so beautiful.
This is a beautiful set.
So we've been taking some selfies. So you guys should take selfies.
Well, in addition to all of the engagement that we're going to be doing today, and the wonderful presentation by Joe Saxon that we cannot wait for, we just want to invite you to be a part of this community. You're going to hear stories about women and young girls who have completely changed their lives. They've stretched themselves. They've stepped into their potential. And what you're going to notice about every story that we cover is that they didn't do it alone. They had a community of support wrapping around them. And it was imperative for them to have that community of support in order to reach that next level. And so we're inviting you to be a part of that community by giving a financial gift. We have some amazing friends of 4Kids who've stepped up, and they provided us with an $8,000 match just for today. And so what we're inviting you to do is being a part of that community by giving a gift and helping us achieve that match goal. And any gift amount counts. No gift is too big or too small. Up until $8,000, they're going to be matching dollar for dollar. So please, ladies, join us in this great mission to provide an enhanced life for young girls and young women across South Florida. We're so thankful that you're here.
Yeah, that's a great point, Katrina. There's so many ways for people to get involved, and definitely stepping up and giving financially is one of those ways. And we want to show you guys a story. When we say that people's lives are changed, women's lives are changed through 4Kids, we want to show you what that actually looks like. I actually had the pleasure of sitting down and doing the interview for this video that you're about to watch. And this young lady, her name is Akoya, I was just blown away by how honest she was able to really reflect on just her journey and her story, and how transparent she was able to be with that. Akoya was a teenager when she found out that she was pregnant. It was not in her plan. It was definitely just throwing a huge wrench into her life. And it was really mind-blowing to me, and I'm sure it will be to you too, to see how little resources Akoya really had, to see just that she didn't have community. She didn't have people around her. She didn't know what to do next. And that was really where his caring place, which is 4Kids Home for women who are experiencing an unplanned pregnancy, or women who find themselves moms maybe earlier than they expected, or in a season that they didn't expect, and they need that extra help. So Akoya was a part of our His Caring Place program. And I think you're going to be absolutely blown away just by the transformation that took place in her life. Definitely grab your tissues. It's a journey. It's a great story, and she does such a beautiful job sharing her heart. This story is brought to us by Michael Romagnolo of Merrill Lynch. So thank you so much, Michael, because this story is incredible. I know you ladies are really going to enjoy hearing from Akoya.
So my first time coming into his caring place, my life was very rough. It was very fast. I was living a fast life. I was, just hanging out with my friends, hanging out with the wrong people. I wasn't going to school. I was kind of a dropout before then. And I was just focused on social media. I didn't have any guidance. And when I first got there, it was very different. I wasn't expecting all the, let me just say, advice, guidance, or rules. So when I first heard them, I took that as, you're being in my business, and why do you care? I was just very cautious, So after a few months, when I realized things weren't going to change, I made the decision that one day, this is what it is, and now I'm going to respond to things differently. So what I'm saying is, they made me want to make a future for myself. They made me want to make a plan. They made me organized. They made me punctual. They made me think. They made me an adult. When I left HCP the first time, I left because although, we had great relationships, the rules were great and everything, I just still wasn't ready to fully commit to that, So I left because I wanted freedom. I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to have to worry about curfew or all these set of rules. So I left, and I kid you not, I don't know if I can say this, all hell broke loose. It was such a dark time, and I'm probably gonna cry. I was just making really bad decisions. I had no good people surrounding me, although, I'm sorry. So when I got out and I realized that it wasn't all peaches and cream, I started living very dark. Social media was an escape from my reality. I was very broken, very lost, very consumed with trying to put on, a good face to people so they wouldn't know that anything was wrong. So I was really craving a lot of attention from other guys. So I was very into that promiscuous life, to sum it up. I was very, very promiscuous, very irresponsible as a mom. I started hating myself. I couldn't even look at my child. I didn't know what to do. And Tia and Miss A were always trying to, reach out. And I'll always be like, mm-mm. So one day I got to my breaking point. Like, I lost everything. And the only person I could call was Miss A. And I called her, and I was crying, and I was like, I don't even know how I got here. I don't know what to do next. God is so amazing. Like, it's not even funny. He's so faithful. Like, he has been there through my darkest times. Like, he showed up. He showed out. Even now, I'm still learning to, walk with Jesus. Because it's not easy, especially being 21. And you have so many temptations, man. So what HCP has taught me about Christ, you don't need to put him in a box. They taught me to not put him in a box. They taught me to just draw near. They taught me that I can really come as I am. And they not only taught me about who he was, they showed me who he was through our relationship every day. They were forgiving, they were patient, they were kind, they were compassionate. They didn't withhold anything from me. And they constantly reminded me who I was in Christ, who I was in the world. And after a while, when you keep hearing something over and over, you finally start to believe it. And it's like God gave me a do-over to pick right back up where I left off. And like they just gave me a new focus. And it's just everything gradually, like I was like a withered flower, and God literally like, it's like he came back into my garden and he just poured everything right back on, that's the only way I can explain it. So I was very grateful, very, very grateful. Sweet.
Wow. That is so powerful. I mean, golly, that story. I actually was somewhere with a 4-kid shirt on one time, and Akoya approached me and introduced herself.
Oh.
This adorable young lady, like with just full of enthusiasm and confidence, and to see what she really went through to get to where she is now, it's just amazing. And I love how she talks about, like, the only person I could call was Miss A.
I know.
Like these relationships with these girls, and then our volunteer staff at 4Kids, how just pouring in love and forgiveness and patience can totally change a young girl's life and then her child's life.
Yeah.
I mean, all the difference in the world. It's amazing. So we have another trivia question for you. True or false? Young women in foster care are often targeted for human trafficking. Think about that. True or false? Young women are often targeted for human trafficking in foster care, young women in foster care.
Yeah, that's a great question, Karen. And you might be, hearing stories like Akoya's and thinking about questions like that and wondering, what can I do? What can I possibly do to get involved? And, what can I possibly do to make an impact like Miss A did or like Tia did on Akoya's life? And it's not just the house moms and the program directors that are making an impact. I mean, we're all collectively making an impact, and we're all collectively able to make a difference. And we have some really creative ways, I think, to get involved at 4Kids. And I think some really just unique opportunities, regardless of who you are and what capacity you have to get involved. Everyone can make a difference in the life of a young woman like Akoya. Yeah. And one of the, I think, really fun and unique ways that you can get involved today is by taking a look at our online store. I love all of the different items that we have this year in our online store. This is not just like your average event t-shirt. It's not like that. There are some really beautiful items. I mean, there's like a beautiful frosted water glass like bottle. There's a beautiful tote bag. And they all have these are really inspiring, really fun sayings on the bag. And not only when you purchase an item like this, can you be confident that you're giving back to programs that support women like Akoya, but I also think it's really neat that you have the opportunity to start a conversation, right? Because when you're in the grocery store and you're wearing, the fun sweatshirt, the girl, you can change the world tote, or you're carrying the water bottle, you name it. You can start a conversation with people and you can tell them more about this community. You can tell them more about women and kids that are in our community that really need us to be aware of them, really need us to hear their stories and to step in and to make a difference in their lives. And you can do that as simple as carrying a really fun tote bag.
Awesome.
So there's lots of instructions. I know, right? Oh, when I saw all of the items come into my office this week, it was very tempting not to make something in fact, I might have to go shopping.
They're really cute.
They're really cute. And there's lots of instructions in the chat and on the screen so that you know how to go online and access our store. But it's really easy. It's just 4kids.us/Galentine. So that's how you can find everything here today. That's how you can give. That's how you can shop our online store. That's all really easy. And again, you guys are probably seeing that in the chat or on the screen. And if you can't find something, put it in the chat and we'll help you find whatever it is that you're looking for. But definitely check out that online store for a really unique way to give back.
Awesome.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What I really love about that online store is that not only are you a consumer and you get something really cute, because of course I like to be cute, but you're also become an advocate. You know, it's like you were saying, it's going to start that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, you get to go out and you get to advocate for the young women and young girls that we serve. And that's just amazing. How often does an article of clothing do that for you?
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point.
article of clothing creates change.
Yeah. It's so inspiring.
How many other logos do we wear? Why not?
Yeah. Nike doesn't do that. No offense to Nike. So a part of our community, you know, we talk about community this entire time. A part of the 4Kids community are amazing business partners who come alongside us to help us put on events like this. And they also step in on our program side, and they support a lot of our programs like His Caring Place, like our foster care programs. And so we want to take a moment to thank some more of our sponsors. So a huge thanks to ChenMed, American National Bank, Walgreens, and to Victory Church. Thank you for coming alongside us. We could not do this event without you. Thank you. Now, I feel like dramatic music should come on right now.
So
It's my
excited.
fangirl moment. We are so excited. Our next speaker, I first learned about her roughly 2 years ago. I went to the Global Leadership Summit, and she was phenomenal. She spoke about stepping into leadership, leveling up your leadership. And it was exactly what I needed to know at that time. I needed to hear that. And it really resonated with me. I went home immediately, looked her up because I needed some more of that. I just couldn't stop at the one speech. And I downloaded her podcast, Lead Stories. And Lead Stories was amazing. That was my regular sort of booster of like, yes, girl, you can do it. You got this. And then most recently, she released the book, Ready to Rise. Download it immediately on Audible. It's amazing. Finished the book already. And it just reminds you that women can step into their full God-given potential as leaders, not just in the workplace, but at home, in every aspect of their lives. And we need that reminder. We really do. She is just this phenomenal leadership expert. She works with teams around the world. And that's her big passion, working with women and showing them just how the Lord has built them to be these, multifaceted leaders. And so please join me, ladies, in welcoming the amazing Jo Saxton.
Yay. Oh, I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is wonderful to be with you. Such a gift to be able to join in this incredible event. Such a privilege. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah. I must say, I'm really jealous of you all as well. I really am. It's warm where you are.
Yes.
It's real warm where you are. Where I am, it is -8 degrees. And it feels like -27. So I'm jealous that I can't get to be with you in person. I would have loved to have been with you in person.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been a wonderful thing. Also, you look amazing. Can I just say that as well?
Thank you.
I love her more now.
Yeah.
You're very kind.
We're going crazy over here, Jo. We don't know what to do. Like just having you around. We're so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a real gift. It's a real gift, a real chance to be with you today.
Wonderful. So whenever you're ready, Jo, you can take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. I thought I couldn't go without complimenting the spectacular outfits before I got started. I just had to say
we appreciate that. Trust me.
At the moment, we may be far, but Galentines have got a Galentine on these kind of days. So
yeah.
Okay.
We might have to do a swap or something.
There you go. All right. Well, with that in mind, I will continue. And thank you, everybody, wherever you are. It's wonderful to be with you. Like I said, I wish I was there. It's -8 here. It's very cold. I'm a Brit. I grew up in London. I'm Nigerian in heritage, but I live in Minneapolis in Minnesota. That is why I'm jealous of all of you right now. And I thought I would love to start. I wish I could see you all to compliment you on what you're wearing, but since I don't get to do that, I'm going to start with a story. In 2002, a woman named Emily May Butterfield got this national award in England for being England's most inspiring learner, because at the age of 96 years old, she has taken her national exams. Now, those exams normally happen when you're in the middle of high school, when you're 16 or 18. At 96, she went back to school and got these qualifications. She had found school really difficult as a child, and a teacher had embarrassed her one day and called her stupid in front of the class. She got up, part anger, part embarrassment, ran out of the room and never went back, just refused to go back. And she wondered how she'd make her way through life. And she got jobs here and there, but she found her way back to education. And as the press acknowledged her accomplishment, and she was in national papers and local papers, they asked her more about her story, and they found her actual story, the rest of her story, even more amazing. Her story spans some of the most challenging parts of the 20th century. And that's the part I want to share with you. So after leaving school, she gets a few jobs, and then as history goes on, during World War II, she is one of the women who helps out when the troops have gone to war. I think in America, you had Rosie the Riveter. In England, we had the Land Girls. She is one of the Land Girls. She was with the Auxiliary Fire Service. She helped out in every way she could. She could put her hands and her heart and her life to work. The other thing that happened in England during that time, little history lesson, is that there were bombings on some of the major cities like London, and children would be evacuated. They would be sent out from the cities because it was so vulnerable and so dangerous, to homes that would welcome them in. Now, she had never wanted to get married. She never wanted to settle down in that respect, but she did want to have children. She did want to look after children in some way. She loved children. Her own personal journey had been painful as a child, and she had vowed that she'd never fall in love. The one person who came close, she decided she'd swim it out of her system. She jumped in a river, swam until she felt she was over it, and then kind of moved on. But children she loved. And so she thought, there's one thing I can do. I can help these kids out as they're having to leave their homes in the midst of war. And so she'd take them in, maybe one night here or some months there, until they were in a safe space, and until the nation was in a safe space that they could be looked after. In the midst of a time of national, frankly, global uncertainty, in the midst of crisis of World War II, in the midst of great pain and collective sorrow, she gave children the thing that she knew she could: stability and a childhood. And what she didn't realize was, in the middle of that devastating crisis, she'd uncovered her calling. In 1945, the war ended, but she carried on. She carried on. And for the next 40 years, she fostered up to 100 children. Again, some emergency care for a night, some for a few months, many for years, providing the things she knew she could do: stability and a childhood. By the time we hit the 1970s, she's still fostering, and she's it's the 70s. It's kind of different in England. The 70s, she's still fostering, and she's at that retirement age and stage, but she's not done. She's not done, because there's one more request, and that request is, can she take care of this preschooler and his baby sister, a newborn baby, maybe days old, in need of stability and a childhood? Well, you can guess what she did. When other people are like, you know what, you've done a lot, you get to stop, she walks straight in and decides, no, I'm doing it again. And for the next 6 years, she looks after and effectively raises these two until their wider family are in a position to welcome them back home. Years later, decades on, the preschooler has a very successful career globally, has a family of his own, and I am his baby sister, getting to share with you today about our foster mother, Emily May. We used to call her Aunt May. In the entire neighborhood, in the entire town, she was known as Aunt May, the one who gave stability and a childhood. On one level, it seems kind of strange to talk about my experience of foster care, because in many ways, it's just my life. It was the first 6 years of my life. She is my first living memory. She is the one in all the baby pictures. She's the one I remember. And I actually don't often talk about it now, but what I do as I remember her is I remember that she was God's gift of grace to our family when we needed it. God made her the harbor in our storm when the wind and the waves were bashing against our life, when crisis upon crisis upon crisis hit our life. We stayed in touch for years afterwards, stayed in touch as I grew up, went back to visit her as an adult, put my babies into her arms at a later date. My eldest is named after her, TMA, Aunt May. And at the age of 102, 102 in 2008, she finally, her body is done and her body can no longer keep up with her fierce fire, her spirit and her passion, and she passes away. But when I remember her, and obviously I remember her and I remember all that she gave, I'm reminded of the lessons that her voice, her story even speaks to us today. In the end, I was raised by a village of women, some strong, some broken for a time, each with their different gifts and challenges, different ways of doing things, but every one of them mine. And what I simply want to do in our time with her story is encourage us to rise into our stories. And I'm going to take a few lessons from May's life, from Aunt May's life, and a few parts of her story and offer them to you. Because here's the thing, I believe God is still writing the pages of our stories. I believe he's still inviting us to take our gifts and our talents and to make our contribution. And it'll look different for each and every one of us. We are different generations, different ethnicities, different life stages. It'll look different for all of us, and that's okay, because the important thing is that we rise. The significant piece is that we rise. And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's quick, especially in the kind of year that we have all had. But I do believe it's essential, because I do believe it's, there's a proverb which says women make up half the sky. And I do wonder what happens when our voices are silent and our gifts and our contributions aren't made. What businesses aren't being started? What art isn't being created? What courageous conversations aren't happening in families, in schools, in communities? What nonprofits aren't being birthed? And yes, what children aren't being welcomed, supported, encouraged, rebuilt, and cared for, all because we've been too afraid or too self-conscious or feel too inadequate to use our own voices. So 4 simple lessons from May's story, our story. Number 1, sometimes the earthquake you're in, the devastating circumstances you're in, uncovers your very calling. May couldn't read or write effectively, but she could love. She could bring stability. And it was in this terrible time of a global war that devastated a nation, the nations, for years, that she rose into her moment. It wasn't when she felt a passion or felt brave or felt courageous. She saw what was necessary. She saw the little that was in her hands, and she stepped in. When you think of the cultural earthquake we've encountered of this last year, what is it uncovering in you? I know it has been a time of devastating loss for so many of us in multiple ways. But I also want to invite us to see what is being uncovered in terms of maybe the resilience you didn't know you had, the resources you didn't know you had, the gifts you didn't realize you had, because you were built to bring stability in the midst of crisis. Sometimes the earthquake you're in will uncover your story and your calling. Number 2, sometimes you find your voice in the scars of your own story. I said at the beginning, didn't I, that May never wanted to get married. She'd seen her parents have a very difficult relationship, but she loved children. And she loved children because she knew what it was like to be denied, to be seen as stupid, to be unloved, to be in a vulnerable place. And she just wanted to make sure that she could build the kind of world she never had, build the kind of safe space that she never had. I wonder if some of us feel we have nothing to offer because of our own scars, because of our own stories, but actually those scars may actually be a lesson for someone else. And that as you find healing, your healing heals others. That as you become whole, your wholeness shows other people that they too can become whole. Don't be embarrassed about your scars. See if they help somebody else write another story. Number 3, the thing that may make you feel inadequate, that may make you feel you have nothing to offer, doesn't always have to be an obstacle. And I want to encourage you with this, not to let your real sense of lack or your perceived sense of lack stop you from moving forward. The first thing I realized when I opened the newspaper and saw my foster mother getting an award was, how come I didn't work out she couldn't read? And I had all these flashbacks in my mind of books she would buy us, but I realized it was my brother who taught me how to read. And I realized all these resources she surrounded us with and encouraged us with. I do remember her handwriting being particularly creative, but I just didn't know. And it was only in her 90s when she told me how it used to feel knowing that there were forms and wanting to make sure that she was doing the right thing by all of us and getting the help she needed so she could move forward. And then finally deciding I'm going to do every course, every class, everything so I can be all that I was meant to be. I don't know what makes you feel inadequate. I don't know what makes you feel that you can't rise into your gifts and your calling. But I want to encourage you and I want to urge you, whether it's your stage of life, whether it's your age, whether it's your qualifications, whatever it is, to not let it stop you and hold you back. Because you have something precious to offer. You have resources, you have gifts, you have talents, you have warmth, you have story, you have a life, you have faith to offer those who may be missing out because they don't get to receive from you. I think of what would have happened or what wouldn't have happened if she hadn't have uncovered her calling in crisis, if she had let all the things that were obvious hold her back. Literally over 100 children would have not encountered her love, would have not found stability, would have not found safety in the harbor that she was. And then my final point, when I think of her life, in every season of your life, you have a chance to leave a legacy. In every chapter of your life, you have a chance, an opportunity to leave a legacy. She lived 102 glorious years. And in one point in crisis, she was serving in a world war. That was her calling in that moment. That was her calling in that season. In another point in her life, she is doing her part of the war effort is helping children have a safe space until family homes are rebuilt. That was her calling in that moment. That was her legacy. And then for the next 40 or so years, it's different children. And she had no idea. She wasn't especially interested in knowing the impact she had. She just saw what was ahead of her and did what needed to be done. But I think of the lessons that I still bring that I learned in the first 6 years of my life. The memories that I still have that I cultivated within my own daughters, that they'll cultivate God by the grace of God with their own families. I think of the foster brothers and sisters I have around the world of different generations whose lives were rebuilt because of her. She will never be known to around the world necessarily to many. She will not get the fame or the accolades. She didn't get it in her lifetime. She did not have the recognition of the heroes that we often see. You would have walked past her and wouldn't have even known. And yet, she changed people's worlds. She changed people's trajectories. She interrupted statistics and said, not with this one, not here, not now, not ever. And I simply want to encourage you, in every season of your life, you have a chance to leave a legacy. In every chapter of your life, you have a chance to make a difference. In every space you're in, with every relationship where you work, with your neighbors, in Starbucks, wherever you are, you have a chance to make an impact. So take a moment to consider, what impact would you love to make? And no one else may even know about it. It might just be between you and that other person, but it could change their destiny forever. I've thought a lot about May in recent months. I think with such crisis and such challenge in days that we've all been in, a bruising election cycle, a global pandemic, no easy answers, school being different, life being different, devastating loss, economy. It was that kind of reckoning that got me thinking about her again and thinking, wow, even when we don't feel built for resilience, even when we don't feel able to do something, who knows what God could do with such a time as this? And so I leave you with that thought, friends. Who knows, even in this moment, which may feel like the least appropriate time to have a new idea, the most awkward and difficult way to think of things, who knows? Who knows if maybe this is the time when you could step in, that this is the time that you could step up, that this when you could make a difference. Let the earthquake uncover your calling. Let your scars help somebody else's story. Don't let obstacles hold you back and leave a legacy. Sisters, it's time. it's time for you and I to get ready to rise. Thank you.
Wow.
Joe, thank you so much. This is amazing.
So amazing. Oh my gosh, her foster mom.
I know. Aunt
I
May.
did not know that story.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that story
Wow.
either. I didn't know it either. And that was just phenomenal. Like
Wow.
Aunt May, what I love is Joe said, Aunt May provided stability and a childhood, right? Because that's something that we talk about at 4Kids all the time, that kids need stability. That's what they need to grow and to feel secure. But they also need to have a childhood. They need to have that innocence that comes with being a child. And it's so beautiful that they have that option. They have the opportunity. So Joe is still with us. Is that correct?
Oh, sounds like Joe is still with us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
No.
Okay.
Joe is not with us.
Thanks for bearing with us. This is a little different.
Yeah.
But she was talking about like at any age and stage of your life too. Like I love that. I needed to hear that myself, at any stage, any age, any season, because we're all in different seasons. You have a new one on the way soon. I have a teenager at home. We're in different times of our life, but each one of us and the women, watching, can step in and rise up. Like she's so encouraging. We need to hear that right now, like after the year we've been through.
Exactly. Now, when she said, I think when she closed, she said, even when we don't feel able, who knows what God could do with us in this season? And I think that really resonates, I think, with all of us, just because it's the truth. I mean, I feel like I've been like bunkered down in my home all year. And you start to wonder, like, what is it that I can do? I can't even leave the house. Like, we're ordering groceries from Shipt, And so how can I really have an impact? And so that really, I hope it just reminds everyone that we can have an impact no matter what circumstance we're in. We can make a difference. And even those small things that you don't think are going to have a huge impact can change someone's life.
Oh, definitely.
Really
I mean, she
can.
talked about it was really a village of women, a village of people that were really surrounding her. And gosh, I mean, everyone had their part to play, right? Everyone had their part to play in that story. And I think that's really encouraging and really insightful, hopefully, for all of us.
I think so too. Yeah. So we invite you, of course, to be a part of that village, be a part of that community. And again, you can give financially to 4Kids. We still have that $8,000 match that we are trying to achieve. We'd love to meet the match by the end of this program. And so if that's the way that you feel led to give to us, please do. I want to now introduce a phenomenal mom. So 4Kids, Karen mentioned earlier, during this pandemic, we had over 100 placements in our homes. We had reunifications, we had adoptions, and that's what we do year round. We support an average of 150 foster homes. And that means that we recruit families to become foster parents. We train and license them. We provide one-on-one support to them. And then we offer therapeutic services, not just to the child, but to the entire family unit, right? We understand the importance of that. And so the next story that you're going to see is about one of our foster moms, Tamara. And Tamara, first of all, she is just this joyous, just bubbly woman that like, you would think that she just had the easiest life in the whole world. But you'll see from the story that she was stretched and she was challenged and she took on a young girl in her home that she never thought she would be able to handle. But again, she rose to the challenge and it really showed her something about herself and it had a profound impact on the young girl. So here is Tamara's story.
My name is Tamara Simmons, and I have been a foster mom with 4Kids of South Florida for 4 years. I met my foster daughter a year ago through a mutual foster mom whose caseworker asked her just randomly, do you happen to know someone who'd take a teen mom? And she said, maybe. And then next thing you know, they were calling me and telling me about my foster daughter and her situation of being in a group home. and that she was in the group home for 3 years, in a group home that was supposed to be, you come here for a night. The longest anyone had been there before was 3 months. And she had been just languishing there for 3 years. She went there at 13 years old, pregnant. She had been trafficked and she was alone. And I said, I don't do girls or toddlers or teens. So, yeah, how's that working for me? And they said, just meet her, please. And I said, okay, I'll meet her. And then I met her, and she was my sweet girl. I loved her instantly. We just clicked, like, right away. Like, we just started chatting, and we couldn't stop. And Roxana just climbed in my lap, which apparently she didn't do before. And we just went from there. And so then she came to my house the weekend before Christmas and spent one night. She lived all the way in Fort Myers. So I had to drive 2 hours, pick her up, bring her home, drive 2 hours, take her back, drive 2 hours. So we did that. And then she agreed to come for Christmas. And she came on, I think, the 23rd. And then we had Christmas, and she was supposed to go home on the 27th. And she said, I don't want to go back. And I said, I don't want you to go back. And that was it. We had to clean out a room, make a room for her. So that's what we did. The last year for Sweet Girl and Peanut has been huge. Like, they have just blossomed, and I've seen them take so many steps forward. When they first came to live with me, they were very closed because there were a lot of girls coming in and out of that house and then getting homes or going home, and they're just there for 3 years, just there. So since then, they have, especially Sweet Girl, she has started to really come out of her shell about school and education. She can kind of see where she has a future now versus turning 18 and being deported back to Guatemala. Like, that was her only future. She didn't have anyone to fight for her to be legal, to, get an immigration attorney or anything like that. So 4 Kids did that for us and stepped up and helped us out. So now she can see, I need to get an education. I need to have a life. And she can say, can I go out with my friends? Will you watch Peanut? What time do I have to be home? She's learning boundaries and, just how to navigate life versus being told, we're going to eat dinner, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. She learned how to cook and, take care of her space and clean her own bathroom. And it's good. It's been really good for them. And so that's one of the best things that's happened with Sweet Girl and Peanut is that they've come to our home and it's home. It took them a while. It took them a while to realize that they're home and to call it their home. They would always say, we're going to go to your house. And I would say, no, you're going to go home. But now every time we turn the corner from picking them up from school, Peanut says, we're home. It's my house, huh, Nani? Yes, it's your house, baby. It's your house. I think that one thing they've taught me is that teens aren't what we think they are. On TV and all the things we hear, it's always the bad news that passes. So, I used to say I'm never taking a teen and I'm not taking a girl because they're teen girls, really. Who's doing that? But now I'm like, this has been the greatest gift for me, just to have a teen girl. She's just been wonderful. And I have completely changed my perspective on that because I've seen what having a good supportive home can do and how she could have ended up like a statistic very easily. That's where it was going. And then what would have happened to Roxana, because that's where her mom was headed until she got a foster family that actually cared and wanted to impart into her life. It changes everything.
Wow. Oh my. I love how she calls them Sweet Girl and Peanut.
I know.
You know, like, you can tell how much she loves them,
She
you know,
does.
just by those sweet names, you know.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
also love the fact that she said, I will never take a teenager, you know,
Yes.
and often, you know, we head into these situations doing what we didn't think we would ever do. But look how even Tamara stepping out,
Mhm.
what that did for Tamara's life. You know, we often talk about the kids and the lives that are changed, the transformations that take place in the lives of the kids and the kids' kids. But look at even what has happened in Tamara's life. And I love that as we get engaged, we're changed, you know, from being a part of, being a part of 4 Kids. Our volunteers' lives are changed. Our donors' lives are changed. And it's just an amazing thing to be a part of. So I encourage everybody listening today to just really think about, you know, what is burning in your heart? You know, what season of life are you in? You know, what can you do to rise up? And, you know, whether it's make a donation today or buy a sweatshirt or, you know, deliver a meal to a foster family, there are so many ways to step in and really feel like you're a part of this work and making an impact.
Oh, definitely.
There's
I
a spot
agree.
for everyone. I also want to mention we have some trivia winners.
Oh, so fun.
So thank you for putting your comments in the chat. So trivia winners, one is Monica Font. And congratulations. And a couple of these names, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce, so bear with me. The next name looks very beautiful. I don't want to butcher it. Rashika, it looks like. Rashika. And the last name, I think, is Dua. I'm not sure. Please forgive me. But it looks like Rashika Dua. And also Allison. And the last name is Duine. Allison. So congratulations, ladies. Thanks for playing in the trivia game. And you're going to get some surprises from 4 Kids and maybe a little something from Duncan.
Oh,
You never know.
Everybody loves Duncan.
Oh, well, that's really fun. Thanks so much to everyone who's been participating in the chat. I know that they've been having fun in there. We're so glad that you guys have been able to be a part of that. Really just this whole morning, from Akoya's story to even just the 3 of us hanging out, to Joe's story, to Tamara's story. We just see time and time again what happens when women come together, what happens when community comes together. And we put together a really beautiful visual for everyone that I think demonstrates this so powerfully. So take a look. Oh, I just loved seeing everyone's faces. It's like almost as good as being together. So thank you to everyone. I hope that you all enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed it. I really am looking forward to next year. But until then, we have a sweet little surprise that's going to be showing up at your door thanks to our gift sponsors, and that's Broughton Garage Doors, Bass Underwriters, and Marcia Gandy of Guaranteed Rate. Thank you so much to those businesses who made a really special gift possible for everyone who participated. So be checking your mail. You're actually going to get something fun in the mail. I look forward to that. So cool. There's something fun that's going to be coming to your doorstep from 4 Kids. So thank you so much to those gift sponsors for making that possible. It'll be a really sweet reminder of today's Galentines.
Will. I kind of feel like Oprah. I'm like, you get a gift, and you get a gift, and you get a gift.
Yes, everyone gets a gift.
Oh, well, ladies, it's been so much fun hanging out with you today. We have had Just an amazing time, like Lauren said. I mean, from everything, from Joe, from Akoya's story, from Tamara's story. I love just being here with you. It's been so long.
I know, it's been
since
so
I've
long.
seen you guys in person.
I know.
You are beautiful in person. So thank you. And of course, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Just remember, post those selfies. I'm sure you guys look fabulous at home. Don't miss out on sharing on social media. I want to see the pictures and just see what a great time you guys had with us. And don't stop shopping, because I'm sure it's going to run out soon. Like as soon as we finish, I'm going on there because I'm getting a t-shirt, get the little tote bag, and I'm going to be a cute advocate, from home.
We got to be cute.
Yes.
And of course, when you post those selfies, when you're sharing on social media about hopefully a wonderful time that you had with us today, don't forget our hashtags, because we want to be able to see that trending, and we want everyone to know just what a wonderful time they had with the 4 kids at our Galentine's event. All right. So ladies, we will see you next year. We've had so much fun. And again, we thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you.